Hi, Stephen here from Greenfish Marketing. So pleased that you're looking at using our missing money calculator. So the first thing I need you to do is basically click on the button below this video or use the link and download the document that we're going to use, and I'm going to talk you through it any second. From here we'll be able to see what money you are missing in your account or in your business and how hopefully it can drive you to increase the revenue you are collecting. Hey, let's not hang around any longer. Like I said, click the button, let's get moving. Hi, great. So let's jump in and talk through the missing money calculator and how it's going to work. So the first thing you need to do is click up into the top corner to File, and then from File, click Make a Copy. Obviously, you're going to make your own copy. Don't ask to have access to ours, because unfortunately, we're not going to be able to authorize you to have that. Once you've made a copy, it's going to be quite simple to use this. You need 6 different stats that you can find from different locations within your own software, and it will be reasonably easy to work from there. Now, the easiest thing to do is if you're using Google Analytics, go in there and have a look. You'll be able to get the first couple of stats from there. If you're using Shopify, you want to go into that, or WooCommerce, or any other e-commerce platform, it's going to be beneficial. If you do have an email marketing platform, you're going to want to go in there to have a look from some other stats so you can have a look at where you're going. And then you're just going to be able to pull all those together, and the sheet itself will do all the calculations for you. So we're going to do this as a rough guide, and I'm going to sort of come up with some options. So say you go into your Google Analytics and then you look at the last 30 days. That's the easiest way to sort of break it down, because then you can see what you're missing over that 30-day period. So realistically, you go in there and you have a look and you say, right, my new monthly website visitors, you'll be able to see that in your Google Analytics. Let's just say that's about 2,045. That's how many new people you get. So then you're also going to be able to have a look at your returning visitors. If you're using a Google Analytics, you're going to have to obviously get your total, take away your new visitors, and that's going to give you that figure. It's reasonably simple to do. Let's say you get about 340 people come back to your website on a monthly basis. Now, your average order value you'll be able to find in Shopify or in WooCommerce or BigCommerce or whatever platform you're using. For this, I'm just going to say, I'm making this up, say it's $149.51. Now, as you can see straight away, that has actually populated some of the fields, and you can see the missing revenue that you might have is showing there already. Now, this is if you're not really using email marketing to its full potential, but this is only covering a few elements as well. There are obviously different areas that you can see, and I'll talk through that in full once we get there. So now you might want to look and say you're using your MailChimp, or you might not be sending email, but you have a list of clients in your Shopify account or your WooCommerce that we can actually communicate and talk to. So you've got your active database, say that we've got, say, 2,200 people in there, roughly. So you can see that has also made a change to a couple of the other numbers, as you'll be able to see in the screen. And then from there, say you've got contacts, so you've got about 1,500 of your contacts you've got phone numbers for. You might have to do a bit of data cleaning on some of these to make it work. And then the last one is how many monthly sales you get over the course of the month. And like I said, easiest thing to do is the last 30 days. Now, that might not be the best 30 days. I mean, if we're looking at doing this in November, after you might have had like Cyber Monday and Black Friday, it might be a bit skewed, but generally use the last 30 days to just see what you're missing with that. So with that, we're going to say there was about 180 sales on a monthly basis that we're going to break down. Now, by entering these figures in, you can see that it's actually changed the numbers throughout, and I'll talk through that. So in total, it's saying you're missing revenue of about $1,600. Then that's on these particular figures. If you've got a huge database that you're not talking to, or your average order value is a lot more, or your audience to your website is a lot more, then this is actually going to change that quite dramatically. So that's also something to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to talk through each individual elements. Now, obviously, new emails collected. This is what we're referring to as the pop-up that you might have at the online store to capture people's email addresses. And what's really good to do that now is to capture their phone number so that we can send SMS as well. So say if you are getting 2,045 people to your store on a monthly basis, on these figures here are on the industry benchmark. So you can see that the average is about 3.26. So out of that 2,000, you should be getting 67 new emails a month. Hopefully it's a lot more than that. which would be even better, but that's where you should be sitting. From there, this is the figure that you should be making for every single email that you send out. Now, to be honest, if you're doing sales-based emails, that'll be a lot higher. This is just a general sort of product of the month based sort of email, not a sales targeted email. This is just sort of a general email that you would work with. Then you've got your welcome series, and this is obviously targeting a lot of these people, these 67 new people that are coming in. Obviously the open rate on average is around that 53.86 or 54-ish%. So obviously you're not going to be converting everyone, but this is what revenue you should be making based on that average order value. And then you've got your abandoned cart or your browse abandonments. Some systems these are put into one, others they aren't. So you could be combining, but they're sort of rough figures within that factor. And that's coming from what your returning client base is. Obviously your new client base is different. Advertising is going to trigger those things as well. Then you've got your post-purchase, and this is part of your welcome series and so on and so forth. Every time someone buys, you want to be either upselling or cross-selling or highlighting other elements that you'd be able to promote to them. And then finally, if you're not using SMS, you really should be. It's a great way to communicate with customers and generate some more revenue. So these are the figures, like I said, these are the industry benchmark on this particular first tab. Now, what we've actually added into this as well is what we call the Greenfish Advantage. And all the figures, before I click into that, all the figures are pulled through from this, so you'll see that in a second. But it highlights the difference that we can make, and this is using an average of our clients to put in the figures that we actually make for them. So as you can see here, we've got the revenue from the other side, and you can see the difference here. So by using Greenfish Marketing, we generally would be able to, we're using these stats that increase your revenue by an additional $2,000 from what they're sort of talking about here. And the way that we've done that is with our experience over the years, and what our conversion rates are, how much we make per email. And like I said, this is just a standard email. This is not your sales-based email and things like that. Our welcome series, how we can increase those. Again, on the abandoned cart and abandoned browse, there's different tactics and tricks that we use to build this out to make sure that we're getting the most out of it for our clients. And again, SMS, using it in the right time, at the right place can really make a difference. Now, I recommend either pausing this, running through it again, filling in the stats as you go and seeing the difference that you could be making from email or other elements that you can increase on it. And do keep in mind, this is just for 4 different automations. There are 21 automations that every online store should have. That's correct. 21. I'm pretty sure that about 95% of the stores out there don't have those. That links to a different document that we do have that's available. But have a look, put your stats in and see how much more your store could be making today.